going on, everybody? It's your boy Don Illuminati, back with another video. I forgot to say coffee in the morning, but that ain't really what I'm really doing today. I am having coffee, but I wanted to talk about this the dating culture, right? On the sides of men and women, and I want people to know that I see something going on out here. This quote unquote dating game is not really it's not really serious, if you know what I'm saying. Dating ain't what it used to be. People now, they expect you to just understand certain things. First thing they want you to understand is that they're dating. And if you know what that means in today's day, that just means they pretty much fucking. You feel me? They having sex with a certain amount of people, and they don't take no seriousness in it. There's no foundation built mentally. Like, most of these people, they don't want families, they don't want children, they don't want a legacy. It's like, dog, when did people stop wanting a legacy? You feel me? Like, I just met this girl, right? Well, let's just say the last two women that I met, one of them was like, I asked her, I was like, so what you got, boyfriend or something? She was like, I'm dating. Man, don't you know it took me 3 days to figure out what the hell that meant? One day it just hit me. I was like, oh, she fucking a lot of dudes probably. You feel me? Now, listen. When you say it like that, you're dating, but you ain't being specific. Man, you can leave it up to me to think whatever the hell I want to think. And I got to go off of, I'm going to have to go off of experience and what I've seen out here. So, not going to say I'm going to assume that that's what she's doing, but I'm going to assume that it ain't been nothing serious. Because I done asked the questions. I done asked, when was the last time you was in a, serious relationship, stuff like that. These people are saying 6, 7 years ago, 5 years ago and beyond. Then you ask them, it's like, so what you been doing just the last 5 years? Oh, just working on myself. Yeah, working on yourself, bullshit, baha. But still what? Still dating, right? You're working on yourself, but you're still dating. Yeah, right. So basically you're saying for the last 5 years, you ain't been doing nothing but getting screwed out there. You feel me? And then all of a sudden, they got this period of turn off. So now they don't want to deal with anybody. Why is it that you don't want to deal with anybody after your dating process? You feel me? But after your relationship process, you felt like you had a need to deal with multiple people. Make it make sense. So once you turn off a relationship, now you make the decision to decide you want to deal with all these people. But now when you're dealing with all these people, now you don't want to deal with anybody. No, you were supposed to get back to the relationship mentality. You was not supposed to be trying to date. You feel me? And for men, this is what we got to deal with, because we got to deal with. A man can go 5 years unless he's a whore. You feel me? Or we got to just put it this way, man. It's a big difference between men and women, especially if you're a righteous man, right? Like, if you're a man and you know how to pick up women or whatever, I know it sounds cliche when you talk about knowing how to pick up women, but it's really not that hard to do. But the hard thing about it is, when you're dealing with a righteous man has to decipher all these things. But a lot of men ain't doing that because they don't want to ask the right questions. They just trying to figure out how can they be next in the box. Somebody like me, I ain't trying to figure none of that out, dog. I'm trying to figure out what's happened to this box before I even entertain this person, because more than likely at the end of the day, I'm going to be in that box, right? Right. Let's keep it 1,000, right? So before I even make an attempt, to, move things to the next level and stuff like that, right? With a woman, I'm trying to find out everything about that box that I possibly can. You feel me? Like, as far as who's been in it, who still got strings on it, this, that, and the third. There's a lot of men out here who ain't concerned about that. And a lot of y'all women, y'all got to watch out, because when y'all go on your little dating experience, none of these niggas out here that's just trying to smash, they don't care about how many niggas you've been with. So they ain't asking them kind of questions. And then you see how you get rolled right into the nowadays natural routine. It's almost like it's becoming common. So when you're dealing with a man that ain't asking that many questions, it's because he really don't care. He's just trying to figure out if he's next on the list. I gotta keep it 1,000 with y'all. Like, I'm willing to give up the game on everybody right now. You feel me? Men and women. If I see the little games men play, I want to get that game out to the women. I see the games these women play, I want to get that game out to the men. To help out the righteous people, because y'all don't deserve to suffer. Y'all don't deserve that. And in the realm of women, I feel like they're gonna need a little bit more help, because look, man, the Bible said her footsteps lead straight to the grave. Why would you think it's gonna lead her to a good man? A good man ain't gonna lead a woman straight to the grave, dog. But when she's all out there by herself, she really don't know what to choose, bro. They say they choose what they like, but what they like don't fit legacy. It doesn't fit empire. It doesn't fit a natural lifestyle and civilization the way things are supposed to be, especially if you want to be a godly woman. If you even want to reach for the Lord that much, like just a little bit even, you going out there and you choosing the wrong hedge of protection for yourself is going to make everything worse, because you're not even going to see the light of day. Before you know it, you're back in the world doing things that you used to do, and you're going to try to figure out why. Well, it's because you ain't being molded and shaped. God, what he does with his men is he constantly molds and shapes them, whether they with a woman or not. You feel me? For a woman, you could say that the Lord is molding you and shaping you, but the Lord gave you a man to do those things. Let's be honest, because let's go off the testimony of many women who say that, you know, they have a good man, or say they got the Lord in their life, right? But they don't have a man. But they'd be the same ones still complaining that they done been through this and that and the third. Well, even the men that they did have, there wasn't the men of God. God did not choose these men to be in these women's lives. These women chose that. But remember, you was a godly woman. So you're telling me, even without a hedge of protection, you can make the right decision. But that's why y'all complaining so much, right? About these men. But you never seem to have found yourself a righteous man. Why is that? Why is it that the man could not seem to find himself a righteous woman? Right? And shout out to Newbury, because he just put this out there. As far as his personal experiences and stuff like that goes. Look, man, we all been through it. We all been through it. And what I would suggest for the men is, look, man, if you're going to be on that type of time, you're going to be on that type of road where you ain't really serious about the type of woman that you with and you dealing with, don't have no kids with her, bruh. Don't have, nigga. I knew this when I was 14 years old, cuz I'm telling you, bruh, don't you do it. Don't you do it. Those could have been the days where I would have probably had a quote unquote, you know what I mean? I would have, you know what I mean? With the baby. That's because I wasn't right back then. You know what I'm saying? And not even just youthful indiscretion. You know, we didn't know that much about the Lord and everything like that. So, abortions and stuff like that would have probably been the first thing on the plate. First of all, you a young man. We ain't being brung up right. We ain't really want her as no baby mom. We wasn't trying to have kids. Just be 100 with yourself, right? So had that would have ever happened to me, I'm thinking probably the way I was, I wouldn't have seen the seriousness of, how to walk this word of God, right? So I probably would have done things like that, out of the sinful nature that I was already living. So, and I just got to make it clear that at this point, I don't condone abortions or anything like that. I'm just saying, when you make those mistakes, sometimes it's like you feel like there's no other way to erase it. And when you're that young, it's a lot different. When this girl comes talking about she pregnant, dog, I'm talking about when you're 14 as a man, right? You feel me? I feel like a lot of us had those kind of scares. You feel me? So, but as we get older, though, as we get older and we understand the responsibility of what it is to be an adult, you got to start taking more precaution into these type of things. Because when you're not doing that, that's what leads you to having abortions and stuff like that. But for the most part, that's because you probably more than likely already living a sinful life. If that's going to be your first option versus, asking these type of questions, making sure that the person that you're getting ready to be involved with, I don't care on every level, mentally, spiritually, or physically, which is sexual, and on any level. Before you start dealing with a person, you need to know about these people out here. Just in general, people in general, if you're going to bring anybody into your life. But we're talking specifically on relationships right now, right? So what I noticed is when these girls are saying, oh, I'm dating, that means, I'm willing to slide you in my black Rolodex. Nah, dog, you ain't sliding me in nothing. Oh, you dating? All right, let me know when you done dating. Then maybe we could chat. We ain't gonna date, but we gonna chat. That's why I wanna wait till you done dating, then we could chat, because we ain't dating. You feel me? I ain't doing none of that. I'm not agreeing to anything like that. I need people to understand the tone and the lines that I live on right now. We need to come to a understanding. You feel me? I just need to know about you, period. Because I don't even know if I want to date you type time. You feel me? And that's far as a man bringing a woman into his life. Men, we got more homework on our plate than you can even imagine when it comes to these things nowadays. You got to start thinking. You got to have a plan. I did a video once where there were some key points that was out there on Google, and I went through these things and I matched them up with scriptures and stuff like that. And I went through these things to help people in their dating process. It was like 10 things about this, that, and the third. And I really find these tips helpful. I got to remember what they are, but I know most of it is you have to analyze the person. You can't just try to jump in, saying like, yo, I just got the shorty number, I'm saying? I'm going to call her up, take her out on a date. You already trying to date. You trying to take her out, or what you doing, dog? You moving too fast. You tripping, dog. You supposed to be letting her know from the gate. I'm just trying to talk to you. I don't know if I want anything serious or not. So you let them know that. They ain't sitting there waiting for you to date them, which is showering them with gifts, taking them out to eat, you wasting your time, blah, blah, blah. Nah, nigga, nah. Nah, we got some hours to go through, some conversations, and I'm going to throw you a little bit of curveballs with certain things just to see how they react and respond. I know. But sometimes, ladies, you're going to have to watch out for that, because a real man is going to test you. Real man going to test you. Now, speaking of that, I met a girl named Queen. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, wow, with a name like that, you really about to get tried by a king. So I want to find out if you really living up to your name. Take time, right? And okay, we back. The video just shut off on me. I'm using my phone right now, and I kind of ran out of storage, so I had to delete some stuff. But I'm gonna pick up on that. So, with a name like that, I felt like it was, I was like, all right, this is the perfect opportunity to see if, these people are out here living it up to who they think they are, right? So if you're going to be a queen in this life, you're going to have those things about you. If you want somebody to call you baby, or you want them to call you princess, but you out here acting like a damn whore, you feel me? And I'm not saying that any of these women are doing any of that, because I don't know too much anything about their lives for the most part, besides the relationship aspect, which should be my own personal business between man and a woman. If I'm asking certain questions, it's like they can't be like, oh, you getting too personal. Nah, what do you mean? I'm analyzing your quote unquote dating life, right? Because I'm gonna find out if you're a suitable match for me, right? So it's okay to because we're going to have to do these things, you know what I'm saying? If the saints can judge the earth, we could judge a lot more than that. We're going to judge the angels. It said, what is it to you that you basically hurting these people's feelings? But if you're going to be judging angels, what more shall you judge, right? That's what the Bible said, right? Something like that, right? That means we're going to judge a lot of things. We're going to judge a lot of things. And as a man of God, it's our responsibility to start there. It's not our responsibility to take on the flesh in these moments. And not saying that you got to be all spiritual, you know what I'm saying, in the beginning stages. You're in the analyzing stages. And I feel like with a lot of women, they got to start analyzing these men too. If they ain't asking the right questions, they asking you what you like to do, where you like to go at, what you like to drink. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, that you gotta know that they're not asking the questions that's ready to set a foundation. If he's coming into your life and it doesn't seem that he's trying to build a family, if he's not asking those kind of questions, because, you know, you could say it's personal all you want, but if we were to get into a relationship and you still got these things that's lingering that I got to find out about now, like, oh, now I find out that you've been with over 50 men or something like that. Like, that's not what you want to do. So you don't want to get attached to nobody. And that's what I'm going to have to tell you brothers too, man. You can't let infatuation overrule you. That used to be my problem. Once I stopped letting infatuation rule me, I started realizing, like, man, look, man, some of these women can look like angels, but they turn around to be a daggone demon. And now you're praying to the Lord Most High to remove them out of your life, Doug. You feel me? I had to pray to God to remove some of the quote unquote baddest joints out of my life. Some of the baddest joints that I felt like, you know, I was only there because of the physical attraction for the most part. And because of my needs and my wants and the things that I felt would make me feel good, these were the reasons why I would proceed into, you know, dealing with this woman. And you can't let that happen, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not even for the time being. Not even for the time being, because I tried that too. Saying, okay, well, I ain't really going to take this serious. I know this is temporary, but temporarily right now, I just need somebody for myself. Nah. Imagine taking in a stray dog off of the streets and you're like, okay, this dog is a stray and I'm going to give him up to the SPCA. But before I give him to the SPCA, I'm going to take care of him for a little bit. I'm going to see how they do with me. And then you see that the stray animal, it loves you when you're feeding it, doing all these things. But the moment that thing goes and pees in the corner and you got to chastise it one time, now you can't trust your animal. You got to walk your dog on a leash now, because you gotta fear that if you were to let go for a second, it's just going to run away. Bro, those feelings shouldn't even be involved. Those are the type of things that you should find yourself, and you should notice that you've been in an infatuation stage. If you're afraid to let this woman go, that you really didn't even have those instincts in the first place, because you was just drawn mainly off of her attraction, but now you feel like you're afraid to let that go, bro. That's the type of relationship that's going to run you into the ground. That's the kind of woman that's going to have power over you in your own crib, even, or you might even be under her guidelines with certain things that just doesn't match up or makes you feel suitable as a man. You feel me? So infatuation is going to have to go, because that'll get you in a lot of trouble. So with these women, you know, sometimes I feel like I test them with certain things just to see their response. However you feel like you need to do it as a man, you got to see, you know, if they crack under pressure sometimes. And sometimes just off the back, you got to disagree with certain things. That's why you got to get them talking. Because I've done did it while at a table when I used to quote unquote date, right? You know, with me sitting at the table, we eating. And I'm like, look, this woman is not my woman. I really don't care if we would ever go out again or if we ever meet up again. I'm here to find out about her. But why am I doing this while I'm spending money? That's why I say, hey, y'all niggas need to be on the phone now. You feel me? Y'all got to spend hours on the phone. You feel me? You got to make, if you're going to take her out, you got to make that worthwhile. Because what are you going to do, brothers? Most of y'all is going to at least go out and buy a new shirt. Right? You might buy some shoes even for this date. She might do all this, that, and the third, but she done had plenty of dates. Mind you, she ain't got to pay for the food, so she can buy certain things, lip gloss, you know what I'm saying? Maybe even some makeup, maybe some heels. They might come up with a whole wardrobe and still pay less than what you didn't pay for her food, my nigga. Or you wasting your time going out. So I suggest being on the phone with them a certain amount of hours. Like if you can't get a good amount of hours within a week's worth of time, right? And that, like I said, they should be responding. They should be responding. Not saying you're going to play bugaboo your first week, because as a man, you should still be busy. And the first thing you don't want to let her know is that all your time is dedicated to her right now. You don't ever want it to be that way. You got to always let her know that you are a man of progress, and you know, you gotta let her know that you're willing to compromise her schedule with your schedule. But if it doesn't compromise, then it just ain't gonna work. It just ain't gonna work. Why? Because I'm gonna be able to need to talk to you. We have to communicate. And I think this communication process, men, before you go out and spend any money, taking them to them, I don't care damn where it is. Maybe a cup of coffee is cool in the morning. That's a good vibe. You know what I'm saying? But I suggest you not buying her anything until you got at least 15, 20 hours speaking with her on the phone. This don't take me long, because on the first day, sometimes, if I'm talking about the first day, not date, the first day, I'll be having women on the phone for 4 or 5 hours, dog. For real. You feel what I'm saying? I'm dead serious, dog. And a lot of people can tell you that they've been on the phone with me for hours, because we know, sometimes content creators are who they are because they like to talk. They do a lot of talking, but also do a lot of listening. But it's time for the men to do a lot of listening, but you're going to listen after you ask the right questions, because you could take that 15 hours in a week. Some people could get it done in 10 if they ask in the right questions. You see what I'm saying? And that builds rapport. That builds rapport. And that ain't really wasting too much of your time. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, time is money. So you're either gonna give up one thing or another. What can you afford right now? Okay, you got a few hours here to talk to her. Boom. That's like money. So after about 15 hours, if you asking the proper questions and you feel suitable enough, right? You feel like this is suitable enough for you to take that next step, then you might come out your pocket and play the part of the lead role. That's the initiative you got to take. It ain't no telling them they got to come to the table 50-50, blah, 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 blah. Never sell a woman that, dog. This ain't the days to play that game. They already gave these women the right to go out here and do everything they want on their own 100%. Why I gotta be 50-50? It's either she's going to decide to live her own life, or she's going to decide to take on the life with you that you've completely already structured, built, and initiated, right? So that's the first reason why you don't want to tell her. You're telling her that we're coming to the table, and now you're about 50% the same as people. We're 100% in the same value, respect for respect. But when it comes to being the man and the leader of the relationship, you can't be selling her anything else but the fact that you're willing to take the initiative role, the initiative. You feel me? And if you say you want to go out, then you pay. That's just the rules, bro. Like, I don't care who made up the rules. If we had to do them over again, those is going to be the rules again. As a matter of fact, if we catch you making this woman pay, we got to look at the man like, damn, dog. Like, and you ain't pimping. That's not pimping, dog. This chick is a fool. Her footsteps will lead straight to the grave if she don't find the right dude out here. But you're not playing a part as a man. Why should we allow her to be with you? We got to treat these women like if they were our daughters, and we getting ready to let them go off to marriage. So when we see something out here that ain't right, you're not playing your part as a gentleman, taking the lead role. Then no wonder they sitting there arguing with you and being combative and all this other extra stuff. You're not being a man, bro. You first of all, you're gonna have to show them that you're a man. So when you want to take them out somewhere, this is why you find out everything about them, and then you can start building up the surprises. You start building up the surprises. But like, look, I remember we was chatting and you said you liked it, this place, blah, blah, blah. Well, I took a little bit of time out today and I researched that place you was talking about. I found out here that they got good coupons on this, that, and the third. I was thinking maybe one day, man, maybe me and you could go. I've never been there before, but I think it's pretty interesting. If you think that these are the things that will get a smile on her face and get the jolliness going, that'll help you out. You know what I'm saying? You plan and prepare to do those things. And then you set a date. You set a date, which is setting a goal. Now you got her working towards that goal. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, okay, well, if everything turns out right, nah, you already got your 15 hours in already. You already know you want to do these things. But now you're not going to do them right away, Doug. The first thing that you could go do is go get a coffee with her, sit down, chat with her, bust it up with her, see how the physical communication is. You know what I'm saying? So where you taking the next step? Your next step should be able to be reading that body language. I mean, that should be the first step, right? But you want to take the next step because first impressions ain't always everything, Doug. It's not. It's not. How you think so many people are been in divorces and just that and the third? Because somewhere down the line, these people done gain other impressions or they started coming out their true selves and ain't really match with who you was and what you was looking for. So a lot of people are going to play the front just to blah, 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 just to bust it up and get the ball rolling. But what you want to do is you want to make it a known fact. Okay, well, now that we're getting ready to start dealing with each other, she has to have one another mentality to deal with that. And now you want to see who she is now. So walks at the park, you know what I'm saying? Going out to grab some coffee, stuff like that. That might be a little slowful, it may seem, but when you're a man, you're going to have to be a little bit more long-winded with your project because it ain't saying to rush anything. Now, I know the Bible says it's better for them to marry than to burn. And, oh, how can I just hold myself? And, man, you still talking about infatuation. You're going to hold yourself so you can be more knowledgeable about this person. How are we going to open up that Bible and start trying to do the will of God if we ain't even read all of the scriptures? We don't even know what it comes with. This is what a lot of people do. They don't want to analyze the full thing. They just want to hear what they want to hear. Feels good to them, so they ready to just rock with it. That ain't how I did. That's why the Lord allowed certain things to be in my spirit before he even gave me them scriptures. See what I'm saying? And he built me up first. Because had he would have gave me them scriptures, I could have probably just ran along like, oh, yo, the Lord said this, boom. And now I'm doing everything the wrong way. Nah. So it takes time to analyze these people. It takes time to analyze these men, women, you know, because you got a job to do as well. And if you don't have that father in your life, that father figure that's putting you up on game and telling you how these niggas is out here, then maybe you should listen to a nigga that been out there like that. Because a lot of the times you could be a very beautiful woman. And we know that could be very deteriorating to your spirit sometimes when you got all these men coming at you left and right and you don't even know what to choose. Well, you're supposed to be knowing what to choose. See, the man is supposed to find it for wife. The one that find it for wife find it for good thing. A woman's job is the same, almost the same as what a man's job is. Preparing yourself for that pretty much helpmate, right? Not saying that that's what God called us men to be, but got to think about it. For a man to be a hedge of protection for a woman, what do you consider that? If she's in danger, if she's in trouble, she's going to need you to come to the rescue, right? Right. Man, the man is a bigger helpmate to a woman than a woman is to a man. She's only a helpmate for the access, labor, or whatever the fact is that we may need for all the extra that we're doing. And that's why sometimes when we're men and we're building ourselves and we're doing a lot, we need multiple women. And that's just period. If women don't want to understand that, trust me, I get it. We in Babylon. The Babylon system has mentally programmed these women the opposite of what it's like to be with a king. The king didn't just build that kingdom on his own. He had multiple people to help him do it. You understand why their generations are so big? Because he had multiple wives, stuff like that. But they're not going to understand that until the days that's coming. Because the days that's coming, the Bible told us to leave the houses without man, and that there would only be 1/10 left in the land. Then what y'all going to do, women? You still going to play the role of, I ain't sharing no man. Well, if you ain't, the Lord's pretty much not going to be too much of use for you, because not one of his kings is he going to allow to be tied down when it's time for him to build generations. Because when Babylon falls and it needs to be rebuilt, you're going to be missing 90% of the men out here. So everywhere you look, it's pretty much damn near going to be a woman. And why do you think the Bible says he will make a man as precious as fine gold? That's why, because gold is hard to find. And in those days, when he said he will remove men far away, and there will only be a tenth left in the land, and it said that he will leave them to be the holy seed for the substance thereof. That means he don't want anybody reprocreating that isn't with the holy seed. Now you only got 10% of the men. Now who do you choose from? Because all those 10% are going to be righteous. Remember, he done got all the sinners out of the land. So you don't got those little sinful, little whispers and nothing in your ear. Now you don't got those type of dudes no more. Then what are you going to do? Our focus ain't just going to be on you. Our focus will be on building nations, and that takes procreation, which we will lay our seeds, right? And then you will also become a part of the foundation thereof, and the holy seed that's thereof. You feel me? If you can't understand that these are the ways that things are getting ready to go, just because of the fact that how Babylon screwed us, then maybe you'll be more acceptance to those things in those days. So we'll talk about that again later. But what I wanted to speak on, and I want to go back to what I was talking about earlier. The last few women that I talked to, and I asked these kind of questions, and it's just, no, I'm dating. You know, they only be in their 30s. Some of them is in their late 20s. And it's like they haven't been with anybody. They don't have no kids. They're not thinking about those things. So it's like, okay, then what have you been doing this whole time? Now, I'm not saying that every woman ain't this, that. Yeah, man, and some women can't give babies. But we ain't talking about every woman that can't give babies. You see what I'm saying? And we're not talking about every woman is a hoe and a whore just because she don't have nobody. But we're here in Babylon, where 9 times out of 10, the woman that tells you she haven't been with nobody that's serious, in a serious relationship, 7, 8 years, they ain't got no kids. Well, I guarantee you she got a nice car. I guarantee you she got a home that she paid for. And I can definitely guarantee you, she got numbers lined up in her phone. Many contacts lined up in her phone. And that's what the problem is nowadays. Who are all those contacts? 9 times out of 10, she probably got 1 out of 10 righteous men in those contacts, but she constantly shuffles through the 90% of the men with sinful nature. It's our nature as people to have a sinful nature, but that's why we got to crucify the flesh, and the man that walks with God will orchestrate his moves and orchestrate his ways. And he will also allow us to stay afar from demonic women. He will do that. But a lot of times, y'all don't see that. A lot of men don't see that. Finding a righteous woman, or that Proverbs 31 woman, is literally a needle in the haystack. I already told God like this. That's cool if she a needle in the haystack. I'm not jumping in no haystack to go find no needle, dog. That's just something a man like me ain't gonna do. Now, so happens if the needle just falls out of the haystack right in front of me. Oh, shit, there we go. I mean, that must be destiny or something. But as far as that, women going to have to understand the word concubine. You don't like that word? Well, it's you either take it or you have nothing. Or you take it or you can run back to the wolves in sheep's clothing, the pookies in the ray-ray, the ungodly man that's going to be no hedge of protection for you in these last days, which you're really going to need to be spiritually filled and guided by men who can hear from the Lord, right? Oh, well, what if we have a prophetess? We ain't talking about a prophetess. If you are such of a prophetess, go ahead and cover your head up and never, ever be touched again. Because that's what you want to look at it like, right? Remember, you're supposed to be saving yourself for a man to marry you. Because other than that, you out here committing adultery, woman, right? All right, so since you're a prophetess, that means you know the word of God. We don't want to talk about you hearing from God and how much you can hear from God when you don't even understand them scriptures. Don't tell me nothing about you hearing from God, this, that, and the third, when you can't even understand these scriptures. You can't even understand the lifestyle that he provided for his men in Judah. But you want to talk that Christ talk. We locking all y'all off the list. Y'all all getting checked off the list. If you don't understand the will of God, right? Because since you ain't understanding before, well, then maybe we're going to talk about the last days and what happens in the last days when y'all only left with a tenth. And if the men left and these are only righteous men, then what are you going to do? You can't say, oh, well, I'm closing shop because I'm not attracted to anybody. God's going to get your ass up out of here. I'm telling you what he left you here for. I'm just letting you know, right? You don't believe it? Read the whole chapter of Isaiah. And I'm not trying to get all, you know what I'm saying, boastful about this conversation, but that's the difference between a man and a woman. First of all, you can't get pregnant 30 times in 1 year, but a man can get 30 women pregnant in a month if they wanted to. So we are the ones that are called to build the foundation. There are to be no shackles on that. This is not a bondage and this is not slavery for a helpmate to put the hedge of protection in some type of slavery, some type of bondage. You see what I'm saying? Now you're holding this man back from building legacy, generations, a community of DNA that could belong to him. You said you like this man that much, right? Okay. Well, man, remember that it's the seed from the man, right? It's going to be through his bloodline that's going to bring forth these righteous children. It's not going to be your bloodline, lady. You feel me? I'm sorry. You just you getting in the way a lot when you thinking that you could take on the same role as a man, and now that's the reason why you feel like you're allowed to deal with multiple men. Well, then what's the purpose of a man and a woman to be together? Well, it's to procreate, dog, to be fruitful and multiply. But if you can only multiply with one man as a woman, right? Right? And remember, a woman is bound to her husband as long as she lives. If she was to marry another man, right? It says for any woman who divorces her man and marries another commits adultery. Remember, if you divorce your husband, right? The man that you're sexually committed to, because that's what marriage is, right? If you divorce him and marry another man, you have committed adultery. I just want you to understand that those are the terms. You don't like it, you take that up with God. You don't like the way he biologically built you. It's a blessing in that too. You are the ones that's bringing the fruit forth, right? What are you going to say is more important? You're going to say, oh, well, he's giving him a better opportunity because he's able to plant seeds, and the seed planter gets everything, and he's the one that holds the name and this, that, and the third. Yeah, but how the hell is he going to plant no seed with no foundation? You're the garden. Aren't you just as important as he is when it comes to that? Because in the Bible, it actually says so. It says that a woman is equal to a man when it comes to giving birth and bringing forth children. That's the only place in the Bible where it says a woman is equal to a man. And I found that scripture. So I got that for y'all. Look it up. Look it up. You'll find the scripture. So it's there. But it's nothing else there that's going to give you the opportunity to build that legacy like that. You're used a part of this legacy, right? So you're gardening, right? And you can only produce the fruit that you produce in your garden. You worrying about what the seeder's doing. As long as the seeder done came and he done placed his seed in your garden. If he's placing seeds in the garden over there, that's really not really none of your business, right? Well, what is it? Today we got these diseases and all this, that, man, all that's getting ready to be cut. Because back in the day when things was righteous and they were living by how God wanted them and they were honoring his will and his way, those things wasn't about. There wasn't HIV and syphilis and all these different diseases. You see what I'm saying? So you ain't going to have that talk because these things is getting ready to go. You understand what I'm saying? And if you want to know what your purpose is as a woman, why you here on this earth, why you been set aside and you feel isolated, well, because you're more than likely, right? And that's if you make it to the supper of the Lamb. If you don't want to understand this type of things, you ain't going to make it to the supper of the Lamb. Don't you know that's the 1,000 years where we reprocreate in this earth? You don't want to be a garden. Then what's your purpose? We supposed to be rebuilding the nation. Your purpose ain't to lock a man down in that time. These are the times we're getting ready to go into. So have fun with your Babylonian thinking, your Babylonian ways, everything that they allowed you to do. But when the Most High comes in and he commits to his judgment and his justification has supplied a real foundation for his people to build, you will no longer have this say. And the things will go back to the way they need to be. And this is not for me to speak on polygyny, but I already know where these things are going to, because this is the reason why he's getting rid of all those men. That's why I say to leave the houses with no man. Why? Because there's only going to be a tenth of men left in the land. Why? Those tenth ain't going to be evil men. He said he cleared the sinners out. So those tenth of men is righteous men. You ought to be lucky if you're still there at a time like that. And those are going to be the terms. You're going to know. In those days, those are going to be the terms, because, first of all, it's already 15 to 1. 15 women to 1 man, right? They already outnumber us. Now imagine if 90% of the men was to just leave this earth. Then what is the percentage? You're going to be walking around. You're barely going to be able to find a man out here. So do you understand how important these men are going to be? God ain't going to leave back no homos. He ain't leaving no weak men. These men are going to be able to build. They're going to be able to conduct families. They're going to be able to construct people, organizations, and communities. You understand? They're going to be able to set the foundation and maintain it. That takes a lot of energy. That's the type of men God is going to use in these 1,000 years. It ain't gonna be no weak men out here. Ain't gonna be no pookies and ray-rays. Ain't gonna be no crackheads. It ain't gonna be niggas that just got a bunch of baby mamas and ain't taking care of the kids. Nah, dog. It ain't gonna be none of that. So what shall you choose? Do you want to choose these things now? Or you could perish for the lack of knowledge? Because I'm letting you know. The Bible already let us know. These type of people ain't gonna be here no more. So you're either gonna get down what his will is, because that's a part of his will. He wants to restructure this nation and bring forth the righteous seed. That's why I said, so the holy seed is left thereof. The holy seed. So you ain't trying to bring forth no holy seed? Then what is your purpose? What is your purpose? To be a helpmate in any of these men's lives that actually made it to the supper of the Lamb. The ones that God has isolated from the world and built them all on his own, just so he can utilize them for the new world he's about to bring. What do you think your job is there? You think you got any say over any of that? You won't. I'm giving you the forewarning. Or you can tell me right now you don't believe in God because you don't believe in the Bible. It actually comes from the Bible, okay? So spare me with all the feelings, the emotions. None of your feelings and all that shit's going to have to go. You're going to have to start understanding this word of God. How do you think the men of God feel right now that Babylon allowed you on our world, a land that has our name on it, act however you want to act? How do you think we feel now, right? That's held us back from building legacy, family, structures, empires, all that. But you just worrying about if you can contain a man. That's all you've been worrying about. Now you're going to find out you wouldn't even be able to save them. The same type of men you've been dealing with. So God already knows who's who and what's what. He know what y'all like. And for most of y'all, you're not going to be here because it's going to be a lot of women leaving up off this earth as well. Okay. And I'm telling you, this is why these things is happening, man. He's casting judgment because all you people are living in his house. This is God's house we live in. This is the house of Israel. This is the Lord's house, right? And you're telling me that all these women out here is committing adultery. And listen, you can say, oh, well, a man, he out there cheating, he's committing adultery too. That's not adultery for a man. Find it in the Bible. I'll show you where adultery for a man is in the Bible. It says, for a man to deal with another man's wife, he has committed adultery. If a man is to have sex with another man's wife, that is adultery. Another thing of adultery is 2 things for a man in the whole Bible. That's adultery. Only 2. The other one is, if he is to take on another wife, right? It says, if a man is to take on another wife, he must continue. What's the word continue? Continue mean like, oh, I still gotta take care. He must continue to take care of the first wife, food, shelter, and raiment. It didn't say he must continue to take care of the ex-wife or ex-girlfriend or ex-nothing. No, that's still his wife. So he's saying, if you were to bring on more, for the ones that you already have, you still got to take care of that. If you don't, he has committed adultery. There's your adultery. It ain't saying nothing about he's committed to her. He's bound to her to as long as she lives. And then when she dies, he's released under the law of his wife. The wife don't have a law. You understand? That's what I'm saying. If y'all don't like it, you got to go. You're not abiding by the word of God. I'm sorry. This is for the people who is going to live in this new earth. All y'all claim that you love God and you want to be in heaven, but you deny the words that he done had for you thereof, right? Right. You denied the men that God has placed in your life, right? Shorty hitting you now, right? Because she don't understand that these things is a questionnaire, bro. These things is a questionnaire. Before I start asking certain women certain questions, right? I'll try to analyze as much as I can when I talk to them in the first 5 minutes. See, a lot of people would tell you in the first 5 minutes, a woman knows if she wants to have sex with you or not. How? And somehow it's the truth. It really is. Why? Because of sexual attraction? Would that not be infatuation again? Because when a woman is infatuated with a man, that's actually dangerous. Because now this man could be completely evil and you're just willing to follow his road. Remember, your steps lead straight to the grave. Even if that man's leading you to the grave, you still going to lead yourself to that man. Until you start understanding this word, until you start listening to the men of God that be bringing this word and the scriptures that's from the word, and you stop denying what's in the word. So let's get this straight. The only way that a man can commit adultery is if, first of all, if he deals with another man's wife, or if he takes on another wife and doesn't continue to take care of his first wife's food, shelter, and raiment. Now, if he has written her a letter of divorce, right? And God doesn't like divorces too much, but he allows you to divorce off of 2 occasions. One of them is faithful unmeritableness or maritable unfaithfulness, something like that, and neglect. So if a woman is neglecting a man in his needs and the desires that he's already set among her, right? And she was doing certain things and then she stopped doing those things, well, she's neglected him, and he has the permission by God to divorce her. After he does that, if he's to take on another wife, he would not have to continue to take care of her food, shelter, and raiment. So as long as you're doing your job as a woman, the thing that made you a wife, as long as you don't stop doing those things, hey, regardless if he took on another woman or not, if you stop doing those things, he could just write you off. You're done. We ain't take care of none of that no more. This is why it's got to go back to the man leading the structure in the household, which is providing the financial aspects of everything. With all this in the way, with women having their own freedom to get their own dollar bill and all that, it wasn't even supposed to be that way, right? They put these things in a way so women didn't need a man at all. You feel me? So that they be out there to go out there and make their own decisions. And look what it did to our world. Look what it did to our world. I gotta be honest, man. I gotta be honest. When it comes to thinking as an adult, a lot of women are not thinking like that. I gotta be honest. There are women who do think like an adult, and some of them can seem to be mature and this, that, and the third, but they still have these traits of the devil that utilizes them to be a devil. And if you're not aware as a man, then that's going to roll up in your life, and you're going to have to deal with that at the end of the day. And like I said, man, I'm not trying to just be one-sided with this, but I ain't bisexual, dog. So for most of my experiences, I can tell you about how it is when I've been operating with women. But when it comes to letting women know what to look out for when it comes to these men, man, you know what to look out for. It's not like I got homies that got all this in their background, and you know the same things I know about them. You know that they don't be good dudes. You know that all they care about is some coochie. You feel me? You hear them. You hear the way they talk, right? We hear the same thing, right? Okay. Difference between me and a lot of women, these are not the type of men that I would allow my daughters to date. But it'll be the same men that these women will not only date them, but they'll go on the whole routine with these type of dudes. You feel me? What is that attracts women to demonic men or sinful men, right? Because when man is sinful, I'm telling you, the attraction be all there. I'm telling you, when you doing wrong, when you living in evil, but hey, you're going to notice the type of women you attract Because it's not like all these women are good women. That now a virtuous woman is going to set herself before God and allow God to present before her. I'm not saying going to give her anything. Present before her the men and the people that should be in her life. Even if it's damn near slim to none. You already know that, right? You know the fact that living this lifestyle, you're going to have people in your life slim to none, right? So that makes it just that much harder when you're dealing with a dating process. So don't get too discouraged, but constantly build yourself and don't feel like, oh, well, it must be me because I must not be finished with the Lord building me because he hasn't sent me nobody yet. No, a lot of things is time. A lot of things with all of us that we're dealing with right now is to lead us up into this situation that's getting ready to come. The supper of the Lamb. Are you ready to live the supper of the Lamb? Are you ready to get on the guidelines of what it's going to take for you to even be there, to be called to that? He knows what's in y'all spirits. If y'all ain't down with this type of activity that the Lord said that he wants for his nation building, well, that's like you trying to check in with your guest pass that you made on your own. And they say, I'm sorry, this is not official. This is not authentic. Why? Well, you got your own code written down here. And we don't accept this code. This is the code that goes for this lane. Here, you're in the wrong lane. Your lane is elsewhere. But to this right here, we can't call you for that. Listen, Doug, you got to look at it on your own. Look at the scriptures on your own. Read Isaiah. Read the reason why men are going to be made precious gold, Doug. Because it ain't going to be many of us. And the ones that are left, God looked at us like precious gold already. When everybody else wanted to pass up on it. When all the good women that were supposed to be in our lives, so we would bring forth children that was raised by us, structured by us, allowing them to be led by God, by us, right? Well, the devil went off and he done stole them all, right? Now, I already talked to the Lord about that as far as, like, you going to change this and you going to clean that. I'm like, look, man, I don't want no ex-hoes. You feel me? Like, it's really going to take the sky to open up in a generation of new evolved people, new evolved women to come down here before I say, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know what I'm saying? Look, these mugs done did too much already. So we waiting on the Most High to do what? Bring you something that already been through something. Now you getting ready to take on baggage. And it's sad because a lot of us men, we're older now. We don't got time to be dealing with a woman's baggage. We have already built ourselves to here. You feel me? We're going to need women that was securing ourselves in a spiritual place to be moldable enough to be shaped by the man that is supposed to be with her. Supposed to set the foundations. If you're not here to bring forth kids for the Most High, I'm not sure if you really allowed to the supper. I can't call it. But if you ain't trying to bring the Most High kids, then you're just wicked. And you know what he's doing with the wicked. He's judging all of the wicked. That you can't just duck these shots, Doug. You can't duck these shots. You can't run and you can't hide from this. So either you understand it and you get down with it now, or be lost in the sauce. Because he's coming to clear all this out, Doug. And he knows who he wants for this next chapter of this world. The next chapter in his home says the 1,000 years where the saints rule the earth. The saints is running the earth, Doug. So you think it's going to be all this hoeing around? You think it's going to be liberation to go and do as you please and, you know what I'm saying, create your own rules in the man's household? You see what I'm saying? It says, as of me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Whose house shall it be? The head of the house that God called it to be. So it should be the man's house. That's number one. So, fellas, if you ain't working on that, don't even worry about that too much. But in this lifestyle, that's what you would have had to been worried about. In the next lifestyle, bro, we all got homes. Big ones. And they're going to be relying on us to get it done. This is why all this shit got to go tearing down. Because it ain't going to be no just free slate that, you know, oh, let me go just run to this place and have this shelter and I still got things. No, it's going to put you in a predicament where you're going to need help. You're going to need help. You ain't going to be living in the same world. And when it's time to need help in the world where you're only surviving, You can't rely on no bag. You can't rely on no big butt. You can't rely on no cute face. You see what I'm saying? As a woman, you ain't gonna be able to rely on those things. You can't even find a man. Only thing you're desperately gonna be trying to rely on for help, safety, and support is gonna be a man alone. And you're gonna have to thank God that he only left good, decent men here. So now you get ready to try to put shackles on that? When this man has to continue to proceed to procreate the nation, right? Okay, let's get off that topic for a second. But I need people, especially the women, to understand where these things is going, because I don't want you to be left out the sauce. I already told certain women, like, look, I think, you know what I'm saying, I think you should get it right with the Most High. You definitely a pretty face that we're going to want to see in the new era. Because if not, you got to go. It doesn't matter to me. This is why infatuation ain't going to work on me, dog. Because it tells me to pity not, dog. Beyond the children part of it, right? I don't care how bad this chick is, dog. If she's living wicked and we out there on a mission to dash into pieces, yo, you gotta go. You gotta go. You didn't want to utilize that vessel for what God wanted. He the one that made the call, dog. Don't blame me, dog. He the one that made the call. Y'all still gonna be sitting around waiting for these people to be executed out of here when these people live in the same neighborhood as you. So you gonna wish a flood on them? You gonna wish their shit burned down too? When your house live right next to theirs? Now how are they supposed to get up out of here? You know how. I done told you how. The saints is judging the earth, bro. And the saints don't need fire, don't need water. And for all we know, he might even give us the keys to these elements. But it sounded to me like somebody was dashing people into pieces. And that didn't seem like it was using fire to me. It didn't say burn them. It didn't say drown them. It said dash into pieces. The word dash is a physical thing. That's an action word. That's an adjective. You feel me? It's dashing them into pieces. So somebody out there is doing something physical and committed to the will of God, right? And he's getting these people off this earth. Mind you, 90% of the men are gone. Why? Because they've been dashed into pieces as well. They've already been dashed into pieces. And then they got the woman sitting there desolate. Do you understand? Desolate. Y'all might understand what it's like to be alone, but y'all ain't really alone. Y'all still be having somebody to take care of them needs at the end of the day. But y'all leave a lot of men desolate without families, because for a lot of men, that's not all we crave. It's sex. A lot of men crave family. They crave support. They crave love. They crave something that's genuine. And when we can't get that because everybody's sitting here running around liberated, this is the reason why God has given us the opportunity to destroy Babylon with our own bare hands, dog. Pretty much. I ain't saying that that's what it's saying in the Bible, but you see all the scriptures we done read. It said dash them into pieces using rods of iron, such and so forth, right? So let's just understand what the real task is, bro. You still got all these Jezebels in the way. These wicked dudes in the way. You feel me? So what we gonna do? We're just gonna leave them sitting there, you know what I mean, lingering amongst our communities that we know that we supposed to be getting out of here because we got something to look forward to. We got that support system to look forward to in the future. But right now, this shit's just a dead mission for the most part. A lot of this ain't even gonna start. A lot of y'all ain't even really gonna understand how this is really going and the position and part you supposed to play until these things happen, yo. So I just want to keep it 1,000 with y'all. When it comes to that Bible, let's stop talking about how much we love the Lord and how much you hear from the Lord. If you don't listen to them scriptures and you don't believe them, what they say, and you deny any of them scriptures in that book, because I don't deny anything in that book. I see everything that it say, and I believe what it says, and I believe that it's his authority and it's his control. You're trying to go beyond his control, so you're telling me you're God now. Now you want me to worship you like you're God. So basically, I got to give over to you the rights that God gave me and the missions and the position he put me in to do certain things. Now I gotta obey by your rules. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do exactly what he told us to do, especially when them times come. You ain't gonna want to do anything opposite than that, because you're gonna be seeing how many people is actually being judged by the Most High. So he know how to get y'all in line. All these whores and all these, he know exactly how to get y'all in line. But what we gonna do with them at the end of the day? Man, I have no idea, because it's gonna take a miracle before I would even want to talk to a whore or even be in the same vicinity as these Jezebels and these hoes, dog. I don't want nothing to do with them. I need y'all niggas far away from me on the utmost. Cause I'm tired. I'm sick of looking at their existence at this point. I'm really sick of looking at their existence. Like, yo, how these people even exist? Why are they existing so long in my life? You know what I'm saying? We up here grown old. We damn near going into our 40s and 50s. And we still don't got the show for what the Lord said that he was supposed to bless us with. Because of Satan? Because of the decision of a woman? Or decision of Babylon giving these women the decision to be what God did not call them to be? Look, man. Hey, man, if you're a woman right now, you feel like you being spanked, yeah, I'm spanking you. I'm pulling that paddle out. I'm tapping them buns right now in another way. You feel me? I'm tapping them spiritual buns. What's up? Y'all want everything to be spiritual, so let's tap them spiritual buns. All right? So don't just think I'm sitting here and I'm going to get all like this, that, and the third with the men. Nah, man. A lot of y'all women, y'all need to understand from a man's perspective and standpoint, right? Y'all got to understand how we feel about certain things, especially when it comes to the Father and his word and his will. Anyway, till next time, it's your boy Doc Illuminati. Peace. No more love.